Straight ahead on CCX News, a church parking lot that has turned into a time-saving problem. Plus, an update on police body cameras and the next local city that's ready to use them. But first, a chase, a crash, and what the Robbinsdale police chief calls a miracle. CCX News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. The Monday morning rush hour turned dangerous in Robbinsdale, where a driver pursued by police crashed into a school bus.
The crash injured several students. We get more from Eric Nelson, who joins us now in the studio. Eric?
Yeah, Alex and Mike, this chase began on northbound Highway 100 at 7:10 a.m. That's when police spotted a blue SUV in a ditch. A Robbinsdale officer told the male driver to shut off his car, but instead he accelerated into traffic, exited Highway 100, and eventually struck the bus, which was carrying students to the fair school in Crystal.
Obviously, it was a big safety concern. The guy was out of control for whatever reason. It was a miracle that he didn't crash into more vehicles.
Now, during the chase, the driver clipped a car on Highway 100, then went across a snowy embankment to the frontage road. Turning south on County Road 81, he ran over several trees and a sign, then went west on 42nd Avenue. He just missed hitting other cars and was going the wrong way on 42nd. The man did not stop until he ran into the back of the bus at 42nd and Quail Avenues.
The officers determined there were 22 students plus the driver on the bus. 5 were taken to North Memorial to be checked out for what appeared to be minor injuries, mainly complaining of a back pain or neck pain, something in that fashion.
Now, the identity of the driver has not yet been released. He faces numerous charges, including DWI, fleeing police in a motor vehicle, and driving without a license.
All right, Eric, thanks. Brooklyn Center police are investigating a weekend shooting incident at a gas station. Police say it happened early Saturday morning at the Super America station on 57th Avenue. Officers found several bullet casings in the parking lot and discovered damage to some of the store's windows. It is not known why the shots were fired and who or what the target was. No one was injured in the incident.
The Brooklyn Center Police Department is getting ready to roll out body cameras, but before that can happen, the City Council and the public will get an overview on how they'll be used. Reporter Sonia Goins has more.
This is all there is. There's no wires. There's nothing to connect it to another unit.
If all goes as planned, all 49 sworn Brooklyn Center police officers will wear one of these high-def body cameras.
This is ruggedized, it's weatherproof, waterproof, so it can take a lot of damage.
The rugged cameras can be dropped 4 feet and still work. They also come with GPS and Wi-Fi. A magnetic worn underneath the uniform will hold the camera in place.
You can place it up here, you can place it in center chest, you can place it in a lot of different areas, and it's basically what your point of view will be.
And although there's a big on button, officers really don't have to activate the camera for it to work.
As soon as an officer turns on his red lights, this turns on automatically. So if he gets out of the car quickly, he or she doesn't have to worry about turning the on button.
The Panasonic cameras run tandem with cameras that are already installed in squad cars.
And it works seamlessly with the existing system, so the officers already know how to work the system, how to classify the data, how to close out their cases. So now it's just going to be basically another tool that they're going to have.
Chief Gannon says the cameras help when it comes to transparency.
If you're the subject of the recording, you're able to come back in and take a look at that interaction with the officer, and if you have a complaint, hopefully we can resolve that complaint fairly quickly because we'll have video evidence of it.
The cameras are also tamper-proof. Once video is captured, it's automatically transferred to a secure database.
Once the video is captured, it's going to be kept until our retention period says that we need to get rid of it.
In Brooklyn Center, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
The police chief hopes to have the first set of body cameras by the end of April. The cameras were purchased with forfeiture monies. They cost about $40,000 to $50,000. In Plymouth, some drivers are coming up with ways to avoid stopping at red lights.
As Delane Cleveland reports, a Plymouth church is raising concerns over what some people are doing to cut down their travel time.
A church is generally supposed to be a welcoming place, but several dozen times a day, the Church of the Epiphany in Plymouth Plymouth receives some short-term visitors they'd just as well do without.
For as long as I can remember, people have cut through this parking lot. It just seems to have increased since the light went in.
Ellen Snapko is an administrative assistant at the church. She says that ever since a traffic signal was put up at Nathan Lane and Schmidt Lake Road last November, drivers have decided that waiting at the light is too much of a nuisance, so many cut through the parking lot instead.
They'll either come around through this way or they'll come around through the front drive quickly.
That's a concern because the lot wasn't meant for the wear and tear of through traffic.
The parking lot has been patched over the years, but we're definitely heading to a point where we're going to have to just replace the parking lot.
On top of that, she says the increased traffic has turned the lot into a safety hazard.
Sometimes the speed in which the people cut through the parking lot, sometimes it can be very fast. And we have elderly and children here. There's been a couple of times that I've had to avoid cars flying through the parking lot.
The church has put up signs asking drivers not to cut through, but they haven't worked. Meanwhile, Plymouth police want to remind those drivers that they're breaking the law.
It is illegal to cut across private property for the mere purpose of, avoiding a stop sign. Yeah, you may save a couple seconds, but it's not designed to have that flow of traffic. That's what the roadway is for.
In the meantime, church officials are brainstorming ways to put a stop to the shortcuts. Until that happens, the hope is that people will start to obey the rules of the road.
Knowing that your one car doesn't do something, but the many, many, many cars that do it is causing the deterioration of the parking lot, which is pushing us to replace it sooner than we're financially ready to do.
In Plymouth, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
And Plymouth police say they occasionally monitor the area, but their primary focus is on educating the public rather than issuing citations. The estimated cost to replace the parking lot is about $200,000.
In Brooklyn Park, it was time to talk about race. More than 170 community members gathered Saturday for the 4th annual Forum on Race. Osseo Area Schools is among the sponsors of the event. In that district, 54% are students of color.
In my opinion, people don't always talk about race, and sometimes when they do, they tend to talk about it instead of listen. So one of our main things that we try to do at this forum is have people listen to one another.
For Brooklyn Park Recreation and Parks Director Jody Youngers, race is personal. She adopted and raised a child of color. Her goal with the city is to make sure that all youth feel connected in some way.
We're that out-of-school time classroom, and our staff connect on a daily basis. And if we can build that innocence and hope in all children in our community, we play a very important part.
The event featured New York Times bestseller Alex Pate, who is best known for his work Amistad, a story about a slave ship which turned into a movie directed by Steven Spielberg.
Crystal is taking a look at all 27 of its parks and is hoping for input from local residents who use them. The city is working on a 20-year master plan for parks. They've already received some input on Becker Park. For example, one survey said 77% believe there should be a farmer's market there. It's the first time Crystal has put together a master plan like this.
We know that rectangle fields for soccer, lacrosse, ultimate are in higher demand now, and there's a little bit less demand for the diamonds for softball, baseball. So we'll be looking at some of that. We have some warming houses that aren't used as much anymore. So we're looking at, well, what should we be doing with those type of things?
Crystal is holding an open house Tuesday evening to hear what residents think about concept designs for 5 of the larger parks. You can be part of that on Tuesday from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Crystal Community Center. Coming up, a Brooklyn Park business that is finding its own spirit.
And then later in sports, Maranatha Christian Academy earns a tough win in their section final. We'll have the highlights.
But first, colder than average on Tuesday, but a warm-up is in sight. In this week's Business Matters report, it's a follow-up on a small Brooklyn Park business we first introduced you to 2 years ago.
The Skaalvenn distillery has come a long way on the road to becoming a staple among Minnesota-made craft spirits.
This is a about 160-gallon still.
When we first met Tyson and Mary Schnitker 2 years ago, the Brooklyn Park couple was preparing to release its first batch of Skaalvenn rum and vodka with a clear mission.
We want to create a good product. We want to have a good following. We want people to have fun when they're drinking our products. We want to have fun when people are learning about products. I can't wait to get people in here and show them how it's done.
Fast forward to today.
Right now I'm just separating alcohol from water.
And another batch of Skaalvenn is on its way.
We're going to take all of this collected product, run it through the still again, and we'll do it much slower and more carefully, and we'll pull out only the good alcohol, and that's what makes it into the Skaalvenn product.
It's still a one-man business, but now there's 4 Skaalvenn products: vodka, rum, aquavit, and a newly released habanero rum, with the possibility of a 5th coming soon.
I've got another new product that I'm hoping will be out before summertime, but I'm keeping a secret on that one.
The brand name, a loose translation of Norwegian meaning cheers friends, is gaining momentum in the state. Skaalvenn is now available in more than 300 locations in Minnesota, including on select Target store shelves and at area liquor stores and restaurants.
It's a good product, it's a fun brand, and people want that.
With about 1,000 bottles sold a month, Skaalvenn is looking ahead to the next step. The Brooklyn Park Distillery is ready to expand to a new location, and Tyson Schnitker has his eye on hiring his first few employees when the time comes.
Short term, we want to get a cocktail room going soon. Our lease here is done in under a year, and so we really want to find a new space, find a city that wants to have that going.
There is growing competition in Minnesota among local craft distilleries. When Skaalvenn got its state license, it was the 16th in Minnesota, and now there are around 30 distilleries licensed in the state. Coming up, big birthday party plans for a city that is embracing its age.
But first, highlights from the Section 6 boys basketball tournament as 2 local teams advance to the final. John Jacobson has that and more next.
It's their great step out.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. Like Park Center in Hopkins, Maranatha Christian Academy's girls basketball team is a regular visitor to the state tournament. The Bulldogs of Lester Prairie Holy Trinity is their opponent in the Section 4A final. Lester Prairie plays well early. Kayla Weinzerl scores 2 over 13 first-half points there. After trailing for much of the half, the Mustangs make a run. Kylie Post gets the rebound put back, plus a foul. Brianna Smethstead finds a wide-open Elise Moore on the inbounds play, and the Mustangs surge to a 40-30 lead at halftime. Jacqueline Jarnett scores on the run, and the Mustangs threaten to blow it open, leading by 13. But the Bulldogs will fight back. Steph Losey on fire, scoring 21 in the second half. Sophomore Smethstead comes up big for Maranatha. This 3 gives them an 8-point lead. She scores a season-high 21. And she'll get free for a reverse layup to help seal it. Maranatha wins its 8th consecutive section title, 79-73 over Lester Prairie. Maranatha is the number 5 seed for the state tournament. The Mustangs meet 4th seed Ada Borup in the Class A quarterfinals Thursday afternoon at 1 o'clock at Mariucci Arena. 2 local teams start play Tuesday in the Class 4A girls basketball tournament. Top seed Hopkins plays in the opening game at 10 a.m. against Minnetonka. The Royals beat the Skippers twice this season. That game is followed by number 5 seed Park Center taking on 4th seed Eastview at noon. Those games at the Target Center. Now to boys basketball. In Section 6 of Class 4A, Wayzata and Hopkins are the top 2 seeds. The 2nd seeded Royals met 6th seed Cooper in the Section 6 semifinals Saturday night. Cooper's Bijan Newbern will twist his way to the basket here for 2 of his 16 points. It's a 1-point game at 11-10. Anthony Davis drives it all the way to the basket to lay in 2 of his 6 first-half points, and Hopkins leads by 6. Trocon Massey breaks up a pass here, gets a fast break, and he finishes in style with a dunk. Pull Cooper within 7, but most of the rest of the game belonged to Hopkins. Blaze Beauchamp with a steal and layup, and the Royals extend their lead. And like Beauchamp, Darren Mayfield provided some offense off the bench. He hit 3 threes in the game. Hopkins up 51-23 at halftime. Second half, Ismail El Amin for 3. He scores 20 points in the game. His teammate Simon Wright scores 22. Hopkins goes on to beat Cooper in this one 88-55. In the first semifinal in Section 6, top-seeded Wayzata hope to handle St. Louis Park. Wayzata with a 17-point win over the Orioles during the season, but St. Louis Park is ready to play. Ryan Dahmers rattles home a 3. Orioles up 7-2. Kyrie Mayfield steals the pass and speeds up court for the layup. He scores 13 in the first half. Wayzata picks it up. Ryan Lindbergh buries a 3, and the Trojans lead by 10. Park battles back again. The give and go from Luke Paulson, Alex Jensen, back to Paulson. Wayzata's up 2 at halftime. Coach Brian Schneller's team dominates the second half. Jacob Benega with a corner 3, and the Trojans start fast in the second half. Their top scorer this year is Gavin Baumgartner. He'll hit a long 3 here. He nets 11 points in the second half. Paulson is 11 off the bench, and Wayzata pulls away. They beat St. Louis Park by a final of 73-46. So that sets up the championship. Hopkins and Wayzata meet for a third time. That game is at 7 o'clock Wednesday at Osseo. Watch it live on CCX Sports Channels 12 and 799 and online at ccxmedia.org. In hockey, Wayzata beat Maple Grove in the consolation semifinals, putting the Trojans up against St. Thomas Academy for 5th place at state. First period, the Cadets' Willie Rhymes skates into the circles, fires and scores here. St. Thomas is ahead just 5:22 into the game. In the second period, watch the effort here by Rob Christie. He'll get past a couple of Wayzata defenders, go around back behind the net, and then tucks the puck in for a goal. That makes it a 2-0 game. St. Thomas up 3-0 after 2, and they scored twice more in the third. Ryan O'Neill converting on the pass from Luke Herzog. St. Thomas Academy shuts out Wayzata. 5-0 is the final. That's it for a busy day in sports and big week ahead in basketball. Mike and Alex, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Still ahead, it is party planning time in Robbinsdale.
The celebration for the ages when we come back. Well, finally, it's the town that was home to Captain Billy's Whiz Bang magazine and where the game Cootie was invented.
Of course, we are talking about Robbinsdale, which was founded 124 years ago by a man named A.B. Robbins. The city is starting to plan a milestone anniversary when the town turns 125 years old next year. The city is looking for a few people to come up with some ideas to help plan a big birthday party. And if you'd like to help out, you're urged to call Robbinsdale City Hall. Their number right there, 763-531-1253. You only turn 125 once. Big bash. That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
And we'll see you back here again Tuesday starting at 4.